A new, exciting open-source blockchain platform has been born. Its core mission is to develop easier and more affordable tools for everyone to be able to create tokens and NFTs. For the first time, we're introducing the innovative Tokel platform, a fully decentralized, community-driven project with contributors globally. It offers many new powerful features for artists, content creators, and event organizers and token owners. Tokel is building the future of tokenization together with the help of Komodo Technologies. Creators and users have the freedom to create, to hold, buy, sell, and trade tokens with ease. Developers have the freedom to build on top of the platform's layer. Tokel has features such as simplified token creation tools, token decks, and NFT marketplace. The NFT creation process has an extremely low barrier to entry. Businesses and individuals can now benefit from the token economy by using tokens in everyday life. A built-in decentralized exchange enables peer-to-peer trading. Tokel.io, the future of tokenization to NFT and beyond.
All right, everyone, welcome. 26th episode, World Blockchain Roundtable. Thanks for coming on. Our hosts for today, Greg from Rivet, Dave from Din.social,
Hello.
Austin from Rivet, Natella Lika from Tokel, Draith from Pirate Chain, BBSAA, and Tokel, and Ryan, founding member of Zaya, and I'm Joe, architect founder of Dragonchain. It's entirely possible that Sean will also show up, Satoshi Sean. So if he does, just pretend like he was here the whole time.
I see him, right?
I'm with
Tokel,
by the way.
There he is. Sean is here right at the nick of time. That's excellent. Sorry, I have my screen partially covered because I'm reading through the notes. Okay, so hi, Sean. Let's see here. A quick update on last week distribution. So every host will receive 266 lot. Every topic contributor from last week is going to get 111 lot. These ownership tokens, they are layer ownership tokens, come with perpetual passive income, free edits inside of the layer on all that content, and future governance votes, which will be really exciting should be in the next few weeks, depending on holiday stuff. When governance rolls out, that we'll actually be able to change some of the rules or some of the way that we format this. So, and Draith, I'm in my notes here, live updates. Draith is from InLife.
Yes.
So sorry about that.
You're good.
Sorry about that. All right. The theme this week, blockchain and gaming. We go straight to the questions. We get a refresh, resort, all that stuff. And so these are all questions from the community, from anybody. So, next week come in and ask the questions, and you can get in here. First up, On Vacation gives a topic: quality play to earn games that are free to play. So who wants to talk about this first?
I'm down.
Go for it.
So, yeah, play to earn games are the new rage, obviously. It goes personally. It goes against my core being as a gamer itself, just because games are for entertainment, not for income. But obviously, that's the trend in crypto, and so you have to adapt to that. Now, free to play, that's something that we're focusing on personally with our flagship game that we're developing, Nightlife Drifting, where basically users can play. They don't have to have any end life whatsoever. And it's geared toward not only crypto gamers, but people outside of crypto as well, because you need that kind of seamlessness to draw in the crowd that are the real gamers from outside of crypto. But long story short, you need free to play games, kind of like the Fortnite model, to be really popular these days. It seems like so a way to bring in users, get them hooked onto it, and then introduce some sort of model to where you can get cosmetic items, things like that users can purchase if they wish, instead of forcing them to do certain things like pay to earn or pay to win models.
Pay to play, yeah. literal. Yeah.
I very much disagree with that. I think that's the old way of thinking, the first world problems way of thinking. I think that is what a lot of us have thought. That's what I've thought. I think that blockchain gaming is the biggest revolution since Satoshi.
Mhm.
I think all of our lofty goals, what we all thought would happen, what we thought would bank the unbanked, and it's going to help people around the world and all that, all of our goals have been just have been wrong. This new revolution of earned play to earn has really changed, and it has went hand in hand with the pandemic, but it has changed the face of the planet. It has done more good in the past 6 months than I think crypto has done in reality since its inception for those people. I've interviewed probably 20 projects that they were doing this thing, and they had this game on the side, and the game on the side is through the pandemic is what has blown up, and it's like people are earning $200-300 a month, but literally like 70% of the world, that's like a month's salary from playing a game for a little bit. And that has changed so many people's lives where they can literally have some leisure time, or even not leisure time. Say they hate the game. They don't hate the game as much as they hate working in the fields 10 hours that day.
Right.
And they can play a game and double their income. People are doubling their income all across the globe from this thing that we thought was an entertainment. Like you said, it's entertainment. It's not entertainment. This is real life change.
That's what's been blowing my mind too. I think this is actually right on, Sean. I think basically what we're looking at are two possible worlds, right? We can have a pessimistic view of the future where everything gets crappier, the jobs dry up because automation is taking care of an ever wealthier top % of the country or the world, and we end up with a society where we sort of have to control everything we do in order to make these things stay barely alive. Or we have this really awesome future, right, where literally we have so much free time coming to us because all these benefits inure to everybody that the only thing that we can do to make a living is come up with new and clever ways to entertain ourselves. Esports are going to be a big part of that. People are going to find new ways to professionalize more rarefied skills, and others are going to watch and enjoy. I think that's a big part of the positive message that crypto can offer.
And esports is a thing now too.
Let me
esports
clarify.
is a big deal.
Let me clarify my position real quick. I'm not saying that I disagree with play to earn at all. I'm saying that as an old school gamer, that's, to me, gaming's for entertainment. Now, to add on to that, to me, that also brings in some problems as well, right? So say you have some really quality games that are being produced, but they're not as profitable as, say, for example, a company that produces Pong, but makes it so that every time you hit the damn thing, you get paid. What game do you think users are going to trend to? There's a habitual problem to where there's a lot of games being produced nowadays that are play to earn that people migrate to instead of quality entertainment games that are like put their heart and souls into, and they're just you don't even notice because I can't earn anything in that game. Forget it. So it also comes as well.
Because when you're talking about Pong, it's boring and people are going to play it. That's not going to happen. Let me finish. What's going to happen with these boring games like Pong is there's going to be black botting, and that is going to completely destroy Pong as a revenue source. For play to earn games, they're going to have to be fun for people, and they're going to have mechanisms to eliminate bots. because there are a lot of really smart people out there, and when they see a game where you can play to earn, they're going to think, all right, now how do I automate this? Because there are a lot of people out there, whenever they have a problem, they think, how do I automate this? Because I'm going to have to do this again. So if I can spend, half a day solving this problem once, I can solve the problem, infinitely many times later, and that's what's going to happen, for those play to earn games.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right, and that was the point I was going to make when Greg.
Oh, go ahead, Austin.
But yeah, that was the point I was going to make when Greg was talking about how, in some version of the future where all the important jobs have been automated away, the way we find a way to earn a living and be through games, those will be automated away too. I mean, it's and maybe there will be bot resistance built into those, but to somebody like me, that's just a bigger challenge. Like, and personally, I would rather spend my time trying to automate a game than trying to play a game.
Can I throw in something?
Especially if it's drudgery.
You guys are all describing a market. Anyway,
yeah, I was just. I think he's talking about business games.
Real quick here.
Before we jump in.
Just to get into 3 or 4 words. There are a lot of people on, so sorry about that. But know that the fact that you have some games that might not be fun. There might be some roles in games that might not be fun that are necessary that are typically NPC, right? So if a game developer thinks about it, steps back a little bit, you can use blockchain tech to theoretically say the people who don't care they're playing it because they don't want to be in the fields. They could take the role of the in the game that someone else might not want to. They get paid. The other person who wants it for entertainment is they're entertained. They don't care about making a few bucks here or there, right? So it's an interesting mix that the whole thing is a market, and between them, they're all competing as well. So one game's can be good another, obviously. And I think a lot of the high quality fun games, in fact, because they have success, they don't typically understand what they could do with blockchain. And that will happen in time, that when they realize, oh, this doesn't have to be a closed market, this can be an open market, and you can have a lot bigger effect on the world with this game. That's when everything will change, when the top tier high quality games understand, oh, scarcity. We could actually have controlled real scarcity. That would be amazing, right?
Anyway. Or think about it like this. Maybe it's not super fun to paint trees onto landscapes. So game designers aren't going to have a whole lot of fun doing that. But what if you built a system where literally you could garden and made a game of that? And you're gardening in the metaverse, and no, not like Farmville, like build mode in No Man's Sky, but just focused on a very diverse set of gardening and trees and shit. Like that might not be my game, but that might be somebody's game.
See, we're taking this way off the
These
top.
kinds of extensibility pieces.
No, this is
not
because this is how do you combine the free side, like on Din. It's not precisely a game.
Greg and you were talking about like the same thing, like building this whole new metaverse market. And now what you're hinting at is I could be in a game like whatever, and then I don't want to do the crappy work. There's a whole nother side to it. I can hire gardeners then. So I can hire someone and pay them, to small change to me, big amount to them to do that boring stuff, to basically grind the stuff I don't want to grind or I'm too busy to. That's a whole nother market.
Yep.
But, in Joe's point, that they're creating these markets where there's actual competition to now pay players for whatever reason, to sell your game to investors, to do whatever. In raising that to bring more people in, it's creating a whole new competition on this one thing that never existed like months ago. It's changing.
Yeah. There's one very important thing there, though. The thing is, it must be permissionless. You can't have these permission systems, and this is what's wrong with a lot of games today. Is I go and I get all these resources and whatever. I can't do anything with them because I don't have permission from the developer, to sell to somebody else. You know, this is one of the best things about a blockchain game is decentralization and permissionlessness and censorship resistance and all that good stuff that goes with Bitcoin. When we have that freedom, we will have that freedom to prosper, both as game developers and as gamers, all the way across. Is these markets will figure out, what the prices of things should be, and people will insert themselves into these different roles, where they can best contribute. And it's just going to make everybody happy because everybody's free. You've got permissionlessness. And anyway, I'm going to shut up there.
That's great. Totally with you, man.
Well, as a gamer, and as I used to work for Xbox for years, and to see this evolution is really, it's personal to me on that side. And then as a crypto blockchain evangelist, it's crazy on the other side. But I remember, in working, the main thing about crypto is bringing sovereignty to money to people. And I always want to trivialize it, but what's happened is not trivial. In the other side, it's bringing sovereignty to your gaming persona. If I would be flabbergasted and gobsmacked, I use that word now because of Lee, but people would complain. They'd be like, "Hey man, I need to buy this in 2K, or I need to buy this in Fortnite," and we'd be like, "Well, we froze your account because you spent $1,100 in the past 4 days on nothing." On Fortnite, it's just all cosmetic; doesn't even help you in the game. And they're like, "Yeah, but I need to get this player. I need to get this now." It's like, it's automated. We can't change it. I'm sorry. You got 24 hours, and then you can spend more thousands of dollars on crap. But but then the thing is, that's literally crap. If he has his account frozen, he loses all the games he bought. He loses all the stuff. You can't switch it to anything. There's no cross-platform, but you can't sell it to anyone if you get something better. Literally, if you spend like $20 on a sword and you randomly find a better sword, you're just out $20. It's worthless. And that gave real value to what you're buying because you could sell it on a secondary market. You could transfer it through blockchain. And that was such a huge thing, that to imagine that you would actually have sovereignty over the things you buy. It's such a basic thing that you buy something and then it's yours and you can do with it, which is a huge thing. And because we were going the other way, like I mentioned, everything's digital now. People buy digital games. When systems come out now, they come out with no disk drive. It's a little bit cheaper, and everything is digital. And what people don't understand is when you buy digital games or even digital movies and TV series, you don't own them. You only rent the license. At any time, they could just disappear. And if you do something offensive online or you get in trouble with Microsoft or Sony or whoever, if they cancel your account, you lost however much money, $10,000, $5,000, $15,000 that you spent in these games, and they're gone. You have no recourse.
An important point to make on that is the Oculus tied to your Facebook account. I don't have Facebook, I don't have Oculus, or I don't invest in anything there. But I've heard from my kids how ridiculous the stories are, where people say something political on Facebook, get their account banned, and now they can't use this piece of hardware that they bought. It's crazy.
Oh my God, I haven't even thought of that. I haven't worked in that industry since the political stuff. Oh man.
Real quick, one last
kind
point.
Of crux, right?
Yeah.
One last point, real quick. That also gets rid of spam, right? Think about it like this, right? So World of Warcraft, for example, you have all those people selling gold and items, things like that on third-party markets, spamming channels, all that other stuff. And that gets annoying after a while, especially if you don't want to see that stuff. Now, by being able to own your own assets and own your own gold or whatever, and having the platform set up a place for people to actually trade and to actually purchase with currency and things like that, integrating that stuff cuts that down considerably. So you don't even have to worry about all these, third parties. You're just basically integrating those third parties into your platform, make it part of your platform.
Right. And instead of standing on the corner ruining the gaming experience, there's actually a game where you keep a shop in your favorite MMO, right?
Yeah.
That's been demonstrated, not to go too long on it, but like a couple of good points there. One thing that I think is going to happen in the future, in the near future, is that some really freaking good game, some AAA title, big production, expensive game to create, is going to play with this stuff. And it's going to work, and they're going to have a team that's smart, and they're going to do it right. And everybody else in the industry is immediately going to shift and be like, oh shit, look what they did. You can do it like that. Because look how many hoops people already jumped through to take a game that was not designed for monetization outside of the game to monetize it outside of the game. If that's instead built from the ground up to allow that, to facilitate that in a fair and equal and non-dupable way kind of thing, that's just, it has to take over. It's just, everybody wants that, even if they don't know it. And I think that gamers don't know what's coming more than blockchain people kind of see it. Blockchain people who understand why blockchain is important and disruptive, they're looking at play to earn like, oh shit, that changes everything. That changes everything.
Yeah, there's such a
that's
parallel
my only thing.
between,
I just wanted to get
between
that out.
that industry and like banking. I mean, I can see it. You know what I mean? That the disruption, the kind of the old ways.
We're bleeding into the next question, I guess. I'm sorry.
Next question.
The gaming industry is such a new industry.
We'll have to put up some background to know everybody, needs no more. But I have a segue, because some of the stuff we can kind of blend into this next question. So Juan Esperanza, how important is the gaming section of blockchain to the overall adoption of blockchain as a technology? And I want to say, as a segue, I mean, something that I was going to say in relation to this last is I see a lot of it, and it could be if a AAA game did it, it could be something else. But frankly, the model that whenever we've talked to or worked with any gaming studio, the model that I tried to at least, well, not necessarily push, but at least, give them as an option is, look, if you get a game that's already fun, ignore the blockchain side. Make sure it's a fun game. Make sure it's something people already are playing or want to play. Now you introduce blockchain components. You introduce scarcity for the items. You introduce an in-game marketplace so that people can do something with the overabundance of some items they have when they need something else. That type of normal things. But the point, though, is that the normal player doesn't have to know there's blockchain at all. They're just playing. Mm-hmm. They're playing. And now, and this is the key, that this part of blockchain, or of the blockchain world, could really push adoption, is when the normie player who doesn't give a crap about the speculative side and, what's the number go up BS on crypto Twitter, they don't care about that they all of a sudden see $1,000 in their account. Immediately, they're going to now go through the hoops. It doesn't matter. It's even easier to support them when they realize there's money there. When you're trying to support someone on a game, when you have Web3, you have MetaMask, you have all these annoying bad user experiences plugged in at the start, it's a huge hurdle for a normal person to get into it. But if none of that's there, but on the back end, he's like, oh my gosh, I have these items that I don't need, I could sell. I have these tokens or gold or whatever that I could sell. All of a sudden, I'm in it. The adoption has already, it's paved the way for the adoption to happen. And now all of a sudden, okay, I guess I'm a crypto person. I'm not a normie anymore. And on top of it, we found with some of the behavior systems that the closer they are aware of the things they do that get them these rewards and how precisely it is measured, the more likely they are going to do the things that you not necessarily want them to do, but that you are kind of paving for them to have a good experience, right? Anyway.
The key thing about that, it has to be seamless, completely seamless.
Yep.
It's a Trojan horse. Like in the Bitcoin Twitter spaces, the Bitcoin maxis are always going on about adoption and hyper Bitcoinization and whatnot. But Joe, just like you outlined, it's going to be a Trojan horse. and crypto, blockchain, the play to earn model, it's going to get in there, and it's going to have to be done seamlessly, like you'd mentioned, Draith. And when that happens, it's going to be, that's going to tick, in there. But one thing that I think that's going to really help propel that, the seamless adoption in the third world, where people, kids start earning more than dad, bringing home that paycheck, and everybody else is kind of looking around at these guys, and there are these games, and like, what the heck is going on, or whatever. Over time, that the penetration level of blockchain inside of the gaming industry itself will get deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it will just simply become the default. And then everybody that's playing games is going to be doing that, and over time, just like who here didn't play games when they were a kid? Yeah. I'm probably older than a few people here, and I was playing video games as a kid, but everybody will already be entrenched in that system, and
I think it'll just be games.
I'll turn to the mic there.
Right, exactly right. I mean, just like the internet is just going to be the internet, and when Web3 is fully integrated and seamless, it's just the internet, and people don't know it's blockchain. It's just the internet. Right. In your case, it's just games. They don't know it's blockchain. It's just games. It's how games are.
Yeah. Ryan, what I've seen and gotten from a lot of different projects is that it's not really the and this is so weird thing to get emotional about, but it's not just that kids are making more than their parents. But none of us on this panel have ever had to make, the shitty decision to put our kids to work. And this is giving parents the choice to not have to take their kids to work, to not have to, put their kids to work in a field or a mine, or selling things on the side of the road, or trinkets to, tourists in dangerous neighborhoods. This is giving an unbelievable freedom and choice to people through something so goofy. And I say that all the time. It's goofy games. We never saw this coming. I never saw this coming. We're all looking at this, other big picture, and this little thing snuck in, and it is, like I said, it has pushed adoption. It has pushed just a awareness of Web 3.0 more than anything else I can think of. And people are willing to jump through those hoops. It's like it's like getting a P test to get a job or something. It's just a thing that people do now, that to get that. Because, I mean, if someone tells you, hey, man, you got to try this game. Yeah, I'm busy, blah, blah. Oh, but you can make, $100 a week at it. Oh,
imagine, okay. Sean, telling your kids that when they say something ridiculous, like I want to be a superhero, I want to be a unicorn when I grow up. They're like, yeah, sure, you can do that. That's a pretty good job these days.
Like, you're exactly right.
It's really funny. It's like, you shut up, or I'm going to make you play that game for an extra hour.
Well, everything gets flipped like that. I don't know if anybody listens to. I was listening to an episode of Base Layer with the company that made Axie Infinity. That's pretty popular right now, and they had I forget who was on. It was the founder or whoever, but he had a really good point about that, where they saw this explosion in the Philippines with user base, and it started with one dude who realized, I can play this game and I can get cryptocurrency out of it, and I can trade it for whatever the local currency is there. And they thought that they had a bot on their network, because dude was like getting his family and like kids and grandparents to swing by, and so they were seeing like for weeks just 24/7 usage from this one IP address. And they ended up doing a story about it. They found out it was like really taken off there, and they did a story about that family and published it locally. And that's how, like, where the beginning of the explosion in the Philippines came out, because people were like, oh wow, I can play games and make money, instead of, like you were saying, like there's a lot of places in the world. Brazil is a good environment for that, where that's probably reproducible. I'm not sure as far as like an advertising.
And you bring up Brazil. I mean, there's things nobody wants to talk about. That'll save your life. If you're a kid and an orphan in Brazil,
really, it's real shit.
You could not be around tomorrow, because there's secret things that happen. But you got a phone, and a dark place you can hang out at, you can get out of the slum. You can become
You can, and
person.
we've seen it even on. I consider Den Social to be, just to plug that, I consider that to be a play to earn game. Really, the mechanics of it, like you don't have, it's not a video game per se as you would imagine it, but we've already seen at least one person pay for medical bills for her mom that she was afraid might die without it, and she was able to use the money that was made on our platform to pay for that, and it gave me this injection of like, oh yeah, we're doing it right. Somebody
it's weird how gamification
literally benefited.
now gets a double meaning.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's a powerful force that's just now being tapped into. I have no idea where it's
And
going to
it's
go.
not charity;
It's super
it's
exciting.
value creation. It's
work.
legitimate
Well,
value creation. That's the really amazing thing about it.
You're
I was
creating,
just thinking
value.
that when you were talking about the Philippine story, it's like if you imagine like a room where there's like 10 computers and there's a bunch of people, playing away. It seems seedy and scammy, but that's a legitimate. Everyone's earning their their $10 or $20 a day, to work. It really is. I've gotten more excited about this and seeing the results and seeing what they're doing, in the space than I have. It's a good injection of, crypto is going to change the world, because it is. It's
Did
doing it
anyone
now.
here ever try HunterCoin back in 2014?
I've heard of it, is all. I don't know.
It was the first blockchain game, and people were taking home $10,000 a day, and there were a lot of people in third world playing the game, making bank that way. We have early models of this, absolutely working. But the future is going to obviously be much more sophisticated. But sort of getting back to the that topic, how important is the gaming section of blockchain to overall adoption of the technology? Over time, people play games, they enjoy it. It'll get deeper into the gaming industry. People will be making money. It'll click. And then it will expand across other industries. And broader adoption. People just figure out, hey, let's get some Bitcoin and whatnot. And
Right. We went to a color palette of 4 or 5 different colors and some really teeny tiny sound effects from just like the mid 1980s until now, and I've got ray tracing and realistic, graphics. This isn't a game anymore. It's more like building the future space where people can live. Like the world is now getting a different layer, and it's just got a lot more possibilities in it.
There are a lot of projects out there right now, looking at trying to build metaverses. That's a big buzzword right now.
Yeah.
Like portals to different worlds and games and things. And it's all very, very doable. I don't think people quite understand how far along the technology is. People talk about transactions per second. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. How many transactions per second can you have? Trillions and trillions and trillions. It doesn't matter. That tech is there. So pretty much anything you can imagine can be done, but we're still in the process of building out a little bit more infrastructure and some of the easier components for developers to simply plug stuff in and get stuff done. We're playing a little game of Lego here, but it's what's possible. What's possible today is whatever you can imagine.
That's why I believe multi-chain solutions will be the way forward rather than just one blockchain.
Yeah, that's the truth. Flexibility with multi-chain, because new capabilities can come in outside of the tribal politics, and then all of a sudden just be employed. You're like, holy crap, this new thing is there. We need to plug into it. Next question, Dragonchain Hodler. Why did blockchain gaming cryptos perform so well during the bear market where almost everything else dipped horribly? Will popular gaming cryptos be the bear market exception? I would say probably because of adoption when people are bored otherwise, when trading isn't that powerful already, and or well-modeled cryptos. That's why I think flexibility in the actual core matters, that Dragonchain, right? That you have the ability to see what the people are doing and then compensate, change some of that, and ideally. And by the way, I don't know if we'll get to governance. If we don't, remind me, because there's something that we should really talk about with governance and crypto and blockchain and in gaming, and how that can help. Anyway, so what do you guys think about that?
Well, I've been so excited about this subject all week. And I got up and my internet was broken. It was like my heart was. I was so angry. I was literally screaming at the router. But I think that's the simplest question we're going to have. Period. The reason why is because basically the last bull market really was fueled by the ICO craze, which was a lot of crap. So during the bear market, all that, it was just ideas or scams or scammy ideas or whatever. But this is one of the rare use cases that crypto had, which is, I mean, there wasn't a lot. And there was, I mean, even the good stuff that's coming to fruition now was really just being built then. So there wasn't a lot of, I mean, CryptoKitties was usable. It was, those things were actual use cases that we had. So of course they're going to do better than everything else.
So
I'm
not convinced we actually went into a bear market. I think that the numerary dollar went into a bear market for a while, just doing some weird stuff going on over there. But like, if NFT stuff stayed stable and you can do that in crypto and the prices didn't fluctuate, like you didn't see people going, shit, I got to take down my OpenSea listing now because the dollar's flying off the handle. No. I think the game of attaching.
Well, and I would also say that in general, you tend to see entertainment things.
And it's the outside. Go ahead, Austin. Sorry.
I was going to say, in general, crypto or otherwise, you tend to see entertainment as kind of an inverse to the rest of the economy. Where when people are losing their jobs and losing their money, the one thing that they do tend to still put money into is I'm still going to go to a movie. I still got to do something with my time.
Because I was always told that's why you want to own a bar. Good times, bad times, people go to the bar. We need bars in the metaverse to it's like,
Crypto
well,
bars.
I'm down, I'm going to go to the bar. Whatever. Anyway,
that would be pretty cool, like a literal spot to go and chat with other people who like are down and like, man, what's going on with you? You just talk about in the metaverse, anybody around the world, the downer bar.
There's two things that are really
alcohol add-ons, man.
There's two things that there's two things that are resistant to bear markets. One is entertainment for sure, and in crypto specifically, the second one is things that are actually usable right now. Like, for example, you can have a chain that, does a bunch of cool stuff, but if there's no real day-to-day usage for it, then obviously it's going to be hit by the bear market. But when you have something like gaming in general, it's already available, it's already ready to go, and you can play it. It's going to be still usable during that bear market, so it's going to still see a ton of usage. That's why you don't really see those things dip nearly as much as other cryptos.
That's a really good point, because like to me, day trading is a game in and of itself. It's like it's a toy right now, especially with a lot of markets. And when a bear market comes around, it's less fun, more annoying, and depressing at times. So I can see with a game, it's a lot happier.
The use case is, what is the use case for the game? Making money. Because a lot of people made a lot of money, just like you were people were talking about, Axie Infinities in the Philippines and whatnot. The use case is making money. It is not just entertainment. Entertainment, yeah, sure, but you can play. You don't need to play, games that are involved with the blockchain or whatever. But that use case of entertainment and making money at the same time, you put that together, I love my job. I love what I do. I basically get paid to have fun. And if you're getting paid to have fun, how much better can life get than that? This is like a synergistic use case.
I'd be interested to see
what
the
Ryan
use
said
case numbers.
Oh,
yep.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think my mic's working now. Finally,
it is. That's great.
Yeah, sorry. I lost my train of thought now. I think people are playing games and then they're making money, and if you can do both, then they're going to be involved in it. And if they're doing it solely to make money, then I think the use of the game might slow down during the bear market, but there's still going to be that fundamental amount of people there that are doing it to play the game, and then they're going to make more money in turn because the other people then leave the market. And then also games like Axie Infinity are going to be higher yield, so even if there is a bear market and the value of that yield goes down, you're still creating that yield, not necessarily that capital gain as well. So
one real good point
we're all talking about, though, we're all everything's basically because we're part of history, which is really weird, and I am probably the oldest guy on this panel. I'm 73, but when y'all are supposed to say, "Wow, you look amazing," I'd like to get the compliment, but no.
Look, a day over 72.
But I really am. I'm very old, but we're seeing. We saw the creation of a whole new asset class, which doesn't really happen in people's lifetimes. And Joe said this thing to me years ago, which like every now and then someone says something to me casually, and it's so epic. It's so clear. Roger Ver said a couple things to me. Roger Ver said to me, there's actually, in all of human history, there's no real history didn't start until the blockchain, because it could always be changed. It could always be either through word of mouth or, through a victor. But now this is the beginning of true history. And that's so profound, that, and Joe said just casually, everything has to have a use case. What did Satoshi do with Bitcoin? His use case was getting, fixing the double spend, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's it. You just summed everything people try to say, is just summed up in this little sentence. And I think we're seeing the creation of entire new markets. Ryan said some things aren't as fun to play, and the use case is to make money. And that's it. And that's fine. And people are going to look at playing those games just for those reasons. I don't care if it's that fun.
Sean,
I'm going to do this.
Can I add something to that real quick?
That's a funny point. Which money do you make in which game? Like, you can think of the dollar as kind of a broken Pong game that we don't have to play anymore.
Yeah, I sit in a cube and I go and I do these things. I hammer at the keyboard in this cube and I make the dollar. But maybe I switch over to make a different token. That's pretty good. That's pretty good model. If I add to that, but this is usually something I talk about in enterprise blockchain, but it fully applies to gaming. It fully applies to DIN. I think this entire thing is going to morph into what the world will call behavior systems. That whatever it is, what Satoshi did, the nugget of pure beauty is that he took software that effectively trains or rewards humans for doing one thing. So the software has somewhat enslaved us, but it's a beautiful thing. It's not really enslavement. It's, look, I'll give you this if you do this. You don't have to do it. It's not, you can go off and still sit in that cube. But if you want to run a miner, you will get these tokens, which might not be worth something in the future. And it's an interesting thing that, that's a very simple model. But you can do it in more complex. You need slightly different tech. That's why we built Dragonchain. But that to be able to model other behaviors with rewards, so that you can basically.
And at least it's not got an agenda, right? Like, it's not trying to trick you into doing something and then sneaking off on the side right before it makes an announcement and selling all of its securities.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think Bitcoin does have an agenda. I think that it is somewhat political. Look at the Genesis block. Just read it right there. It's out to do something. But one of the important things is it aligns incentives properly. It gives us good incentives, because sound money, gives proper incentives. Right now we've got the quintillion effect, where, people at the top who get the money first are making, just butt tons of money. Mm-hmm. And everyone at the bottom, all their purchasing power is being destroyed, and they're being impoverished. It's stealing from, all these people, and it's creating misery. And it's been going on for a very long time. And, realigning incentives properly, getting rid of this fiat, garbage, by the way, if you get paid in fiat. That's called fiat mining instead of Bitcoin.
I agree. They do have smelters involved in the process, right?
That's a huge thing that you just said there that I've been thinking. I've seen some little things which I never thought were going to happen, or I don't know. It's just for being in crypto this long, to see it happen is weird. Like Inu dogs exploding. Everybody's buying Inu dogs. It's like 8,000% up for the usual sales for the dogs, and everyone. I did it. We were talking about that on a show, and I was like, "How weird is it that 3 years ago everyone was like having a fit and going crazy because Katy Perry put a Bitcoin on her fingernail, had it done at the nail shop, and now crypto is influencing the kind of dogs people buy around the world. This little thing, and now to think that our cryptocurrency baby is affecting non-blockchain games. Like this could be this could be the salvation that you're talking about. Somebody picking this up. This could be like the salvation for EA. They could come back from the dead and all the hatred for them. Be like, hey, look what we have done. We have brought this to you. Love us again.
It is in some cases an out for a big company that's struggling to maintain the love from their community that they've lost through greed.
Well, can I offer that up? That there is a big piece to say about the community side of it. That I know from my kids, right, that there have been several games that they get annoyed because some character in an update is now overpowered, or basically these things change, which affects in a bad way what they were wanting to do. Right? They had no say in it. It just happens, and it sucks, and they lose people. They, so it's almost like the central authority sometimes doesn't have enough good feedback and or doesn't care about it. They destroy themselves on their own. If you apply, in fact, if you can apply some type of a role-based or interest-based governance, that is, you kind of realize this type of player would want the algorithm to change to benefit them, or to add extra features. This player over here doesn't want it because it'll affect theirs. And the beauty is you can apply, and we do this on Den. That's exactly what we do, where you can apply that governance, where you effectively can take the possibility that the central authority in the future could totally screw the whole thing up inadvertently. That you leave it now open so that anything changed is going to go through the proper level of community vetting, right? Anyway, it's a very interesting thing that I think for value.
One thing that I absolutely love about crypto is that in a sense, it created a giant reset button for almost any industry. Because there's a lot of industries out there that are typically dominated by one or two different players. And now with crypto, you can replicate those industries and make them better. Well, and now you have new players in that industry that are just competing with the old school players that are just not forward thinking.
That's why so much of. Go ahead, Joe.
On that, Andreessen had said, software is eating the world. This back in the 90s, right, when software was just going through real estate, it took, right, that crypto, the blockchain, has the capability, and it will happen to do that, because this is software. It's still software, but it's self-driven software. You don't necessarily need. In fact, you are if you're properly modeling it, it will take over that industry on its own.
Right.
The competition is on how well you model it. So
that's why we need to have I think the last great political fight of political fights that really affect people's lives is going to be the one for open protocols, open source systems, permissionless access, and censorship resistance. We can't have people meddling and holding these things. Because you can see a dystopia version of this, right, where they think the game everybody needs to play is this game, and it's our game, and they put the same designers that designed the healthcare exchange on it. And no, that's the future, right?
The thing there is you need to be able to fork the code and fork the chain. With those two powers, forking the code and forking the chain, anybody playing around inside of that system, however it operates, always has that threat that, people are just going to leave, and take everything here over there.
Gives power to the
So
people.
it helps align incentives for people to do what is not just in their own best interest, but in others' best interest as well.
We've been
That's
talking
why
about that
blockchain games are
exactly
good.
a lot with the new stuff that we're rolling out in DIN with the governance. Is like, there was this question about people that maybe have too much influence or vote, to where the community might not be able to get their way and stuff. And in my opinion, that's just like the way that we're designed. You can just spin up your own separate community. It's like, oh, the people that are in charge of this don't want what we want. Obviously, we should have a different communities. And so your investment in becoming the controlling, I have all the points and votes. Well, if they leave, then the value of your layer, in our case, goes down because there's less people, less activity, that kind of thing. So incentives and maybe more importantly, or as important as those incentives are, like the side effects of your actions are real. You don't get padded against bad choices, kind of thing.
This is why it'll be hard for AAA to adopt it, right?
Yeah.
They're afraid of that. They want that control. They don't want to give power to the players. They want the ability to make money.
It's
Speaking
very
on control. It's like I was said, we're seeing the formation of so much this history, but in going with what Dragonchain did is putting a value on time, and with blockchain and with crypto, it is giving people back the control over their money and sovereignty over their money, with real hard assets. But I think with this, we're seeing people gain sovereignty over their time. Like you were saying, you can pick and choose now. Well, I want this I can make this. I can get this. So people, these basically games are bidding on your time. And for a regular person has never had that all over the world. Throughout history, you either had to be royalty for your time to be worth a damn, or you have to pay tons of money to go to school to have tons of degrees or lots of experience or something else that sets you apart from everyone else, so that your time is more valuable and you can pick and choose to you can put a price tag on your time. And this gives that to just anybody. The average, moron. You could be, just the ordinary idiot, savant, whatever, but it gives everyone that sovereignty over their time to look and see what they're going to give it to get compensation. Oh, that's not enough money. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that. Or it's so entertaining, I might play it for that aspect. But when it comes to the earn part of the play to, I think that has given sovereignty to people on their time as to what it's worth, because they can set that price. It's been someone else, someone who owns the business, someone's trying to get a job from, someone you're negotiating for anything. Now it's all in your hands. It's revolutionary. It really is.
The difference between do that on your own time and own your time, right? So it's kind of a crazy thing. Okay, quick. We only have 7 minutes. So next question, Jacob Wayne: is it currently possible to play blockchain games for full-time living, or do you think it'll take time but is inevitable? I think we covered it already a little bit. If anyone wants to add anything in there, it probably very much depends upon where you live in the world.
That's all I was going to say. It depends on where you live. Yep.
Yeah.
They might not have a game you like.
I don't think so. I think it's in America you can do it. In Western countries you can do it.
You can do it.
You may not play games you want to play, but you can definitely do it. There's look at Doge Dash.
It was more like cost of living in your city is what I was thinking of. Like, what does that mean? How much do you need to make a living? Because that varies wildly.
You can make thousands of dollars in some games. So
I'll tell you what, I
think if you're good.
Are you playing a game or are you investing or whatever? Because I think a lot of the games right now are really kind of speculation, gambling. It's speculative investment a lot of the time.
Well,
Yeah, but
it's not a game then.
Doge Dash. Doge Dash is now coming out. Their token has went up like 18,000% in the past month. So you could have made a ton of money, and that's another aspect to this, which Ryan touched on.
Investment, it's not playing.
No, but that's the thing. Now with that time thing, like I was saying, you can say, well, you know what? This is a long-term game. I'm going to give that about 20 hours this week, and I'm going to hold that because I think in 2 months that time I invested in it, not just the money because you don't have money, but the time I invested in that $700 will be worth $3,000. So I'm going to give that 20 hours now. And then just put that aside.
I will tell you, it's the same as Bitcoin mining. When I first did Bitcoin mining, it was not actually profitable, but it was this weird time thing. And I know, I could have just bought it. I got more for the same price as the energy, but it's still the ultimate game could. What if you had a DEX that literally just made trading into a game, and it literally had leaderboards and everything else. That seems like that would be the ultimate crypto game, right?
Right. And it's right now crypto.com building, right?
See,
what's that? Gamifying the trading.
Yeah. But here's the other key thing too: is that the beauty of play to earn gaming is that what capital are you using? You're using your time rather than your financial assets, which is awesome because that means that instead of having to have capital to actually get in, you just need a little bit of time. And then if you wish to be an investor, now by earning, you can hold if you want. And then there comes in the investing portion, or you can just cash out and just, make it a living that way.
Yeah, and one of the
if you want to be a race driver, right? You can take a car that somebody else bought on a car exchange and go drive their car for them, split the winnings, that kind of thing.
You could literally, someone could tell you, hey man, you got to get in on this token. This thing's gonna blow up in about 6 months, and you could say, all right, man, I'll put about 2 weeks into it, and you grind for your future earnings, and then you just walk away. You let it sit. 6 months from now, it was right. You've went up 20x. So your 40 hours of work, or if you go to 40 hours of work at any job, that's not changing. Your fiat is not changing. You can leave it in the bank account and it's going to stay the same.
Well, you're actually making
back 6 months, and your 40 hours is now worth like 3 months worth of work.
You're putting in a lot of risk, though. If you're putting in 2 weeks of your time into a game, you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. The question about making a living now. No, I don't really think so because the risk factor is simply too high when you have to pay bills. When you have electricity and a family, no. But in the future, I believe it's inevitable that you will be able to do it. But risk.
The other key here too is like if people really start making money at this, it will not be long before people start to treat gaming as a profession and the Fed needs to intervene and the SEC needs to stop you from trading these fractionalized securities to protect you from yourself.
Ryan, what I was saying is if
we have a lot of
my buddy told me to put into this coin, and he put 2 weeks of his salary into it, and I put 2 weeks of my spare time into it. So if it does crash, he is actually financially hurt. I didn't lose anything but my time.
And that's the point I wanted to piggyback on, if you don't mind me butting in there, is that like somebody brought it up earlier with the games that require actually you have to own like 3 expensive NFTs to even play. So there's that initial investment, so there's that hybrid of speculation and then time investment, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of games you don't have to pay to get into to re-answer that question. And you brought up something important, which is the grind. In gaming, grinding in a game, it often feels like work. It feels like oh, I'm not progressing through the story. You're working and you're doing something. When I played MMOs, I would always gravitate towards the grind. And there's a lot of people who just want to go raid dungeons. They just want gear. They just want to go have fun with their buddies. I don't like multiplayer games. I don't like playing with other people on games. I like single player stuff. I don't want to talk to other people. So what I always did,
I'm weird, but I'm right there with you, man.
So I would always go to, I would be a crafter. If I'm in a guild, maybe I make armor for people, and that's where the guild gets its armor. I don't care about the dungeon. I don't want to be your healer. I want to make some awesome gear and sell it to you.
Right.
So there's things that people are already doing where if you take exactly what people are doing already, and this is why I get so passionate about Den is like you take exactly what people are doing already for free or paying to do it. You know, buying the expansion, buying the updates, you know, things like that. You're paying a company to give them money, and you take the exact same format and you flip it over and you say, all right, this is free. Anybody can download it, and you do these jobs and you earn money, and also the company makes money too. And that is, I don't see any way that can't take over the entire industry at some point, eventually.
Is it because
I would say in terms of it taking over the entire industry, there are certain things that are going to be hard to certain types of games and certain game mechanics that are not going to translate well to this. And I hope that there are, you know, that the profit incentives for the companies don't lead to a point where we're, you know, abandoning game mechanics that just don't work here.
Yeah, maybe okay. And 100% is a lot to say. You're right. You know, but I think that you'll have such a market share to where it's one of the most common things. It's maybe not blockchain or cryptocurrency involved in all of it, but there's something in like most games you get that have like a token that you can, even if it's worth nothing, you know.
And Dave, is it because you'll never be blamed for a raid wipe? That's why you never
Well, and last word real fast from me on this. I do think that eventually it gets there. 3D printers, nanotech, like you get to the point where every freaking game is on here.
Everything
right
used to
now,
be
I just didn't have the skill.
Everything used to be a card game or a board game, right? But software came in, and you know, so there are still board games, yes, but we don't really talk about them in this we haven't talked about that in this context at all today, right? So you know, blockchain will permeate; it'll get through there. All right, so
Gamify Mars, man.
Sorry, yes, we went a little longer, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to go backwards this time. So, what's going on in your world, Nutella this coming week to tell people about, where to follow you, so on and so on?
Yeah, no dramas. Thanks for having me. Apologies I didn't get too much in there. The mic was playing up for me. But yeah, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Liquor Nutella, so backwards, which makes it easy, obviously. But in Toggle World, we're preparing our token creation tool release, which is pretty neat. So if you're interested to learn more, follow the Toggle platform. So just at Toggle platform on Twitter. Thanks.
Excellent. Yes, thanks. Sean, what's up?
The opposite. I'm sorry that I talk so much, but I really have been excited all week about this, man. Giving away some NFTs. You just have to go to my channel, Satoshi Sean, and subscribe and comment on all the videos I've done. I've done some cool interviews on some of the things on this subject this past week. That's about it.
Good deal. Good. Thanks, Draith.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at the infamous Kata. Life is going through a lot of stuff right now in terms of development. You know, we're finishing up our flagship game, which should be available beginning of 2022, I believe. Nightlife Drifting. It involves NFTs, play to earn. You can even not play and still earn. There's so much stuff that we're doing in terms of development and just the backbone technology behind Life. It's just crazy. So you can follow the project, Nightlife Crypto, on Twitter and pretty much any other social you can think of. Right on. Greg.
Cool. From the Rivet side, we've got Cardinal coming soon. I'll let Austin talk about that. I just want to briefly touch on what I mean by this CryptoGandagate thing. Reason TV on Twitter just published a video that beats the crap out of that stupid argument that proof of work algorithms are somehow killing the earth. It's crap, and they actually used really bad statistics that they should have known if they were better than a 5-year-old at doing math. That they were bugs. So pretty clear they were full of shit and they knew it. So check that out and help me spread this around, because they need to have to address it. They need to address it.
I just dropped that video in the public YouTube chat as well, if anybody wants to see what Greg is talking about.
Excellent. Ryan.
You can find me, just go to Zaya.io, xaya.io, and get into the Discord channel. I'm Renegade, and you can find all our social channels through our website, but we're primarily in Discord a lot of the time. And check out our Soccer Manager Elite beta game. It's not a full release yet, but it's a lot of fun. So if you like sports management, not a game for everybody, but
Cool. Austin.
All right. Yeah. So the main thing I want to mention today is that if you guys are familiar with Ether Cluster, which is the open source or the open free endpoint for the Ethereum Classic blockchain, we are now backing that. So that is backed onto Rivet infrastructure, and we are now providing most of the requests for the Ethereum Classic blockchain that aren't people running their own nodes.
Excellent.
Nice.
Dave.
Yeah, I am obsessed with DIN Social as always. I'm also getting back into proof of work mining. Recently, I abandoned that for a while because of a lot of reasons, but there's some real projects around. I'm going to be writing that up. Some of my experiences. I've one of my best friends to help me with that so I can teach him. And I'm going to have him come on the show on Wednesday mornings when I do the Coffee with DIN. And so I'm going to basically, look out for some mining posts on DIN. I'll probably talk about Pirate a little bit. I'll probably talk about Raptorium since that's kind of hot right now, and get myself back into hobby mining at home a little bit and see what I can squeeze out of it.
Excellent. And I guess, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for coming on. This is actually really good. Tons of really good content in this one. And make sure anybody watching to share this video. The more views it gets, the more the more ownership everyone who participated, both hosting and asking questions, will get. Go in and help us out every week. This coming for the episode next week, to make sure you post a question. I don't know if I know what the topic is, generic topic, but it'll be announced. And vote up the questions that are in there as well. If there's something in there you want to see answered. Next week it is anything from the community, total no holds barred, whatever questions you would want. Try to keep them generic blockchain related, at least, not, specific projects. Sure. That's fine. We
can also talk fantasy football.
We can talk about, there are a couple of things going on in the crypto world that are remarkably interesting, although it's a tribal world, so it's hard to say, but there's a lot of regulatory things that I've seen that really have surprised me in the past month.
We can talk about politics and religion. That's always fun.
We could do that. Yep. And how
Traditional Thanksgiving.
solve it.
Perfect.
Right on. Okay, well, thanks everybody.
I called it on Crazy Uncle.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.